Have you ever wondered if food expiration dates really mean what you think they do? Surprisingly, these dates are not as reliable as they seem. The truth is, millions of people in the US discard tons of processed foods every year, based solely on these dates. This is a waste of both food and money. In fact, 37% of food waste in the US comes from households, highlighting the significant impact of consumer behavior. But what if I told you that a large portion of this waste is completely unnecessary? Yes, often, food is perfectly good to eat but is thrown away due to a common misunderstanding. Looking closer, we realize that expiration dates often indicate just the period of optimal freshness, not necessarily food safety. That's right. About 20% of food is discarded due to misunderstood expiration dates, emphasizing the need for clearer labeling. You might be throwing away food that is still good, simply because the date on the label says, expired. This leads to massive food waste, not only in our homes but also in restaurants and supermarkets. The problem is so severe that organizations are seeking global solutions to reduce this absurd waste, estimating that the adoption of standardized labeling in the US could reduce food waste by 398,000 tons per year. Supermarkets and retailers could adopt more effective practices for dealing with these foods. For example, donating unsold food that is still good. This not only helps reduce food waste but also combats hunger and food insecurity. The USDA and other organizations are already working on this, but the change starts with each of us. Instead of simply throwing away that yogurt that has passed its date, how about using your sight, smell, and touch to check if it's still good? In the 1970s, expiration dates began appearing on food packaging, a practice known as open dating. The goal was to give consumers an idea of when foods would be at their peak freshness. This seemed like an excellent idea at the time, a true revolution in processed food consumption. However, the intention to offer clarity ended up causing confusion and waste. Although open dating was created to help, many consumers came to understand these dates as an indication of food safety. But in reality, these dates are set by manufacturers to ensure the product is at its best quality, not necessarily safe or unsafe after that date. This misunderstanding about expiration dates can lead to the premature disposal of perfectly good food. Imagine you buy milk that expires in 3 days, but it's still good for a week. Instead of blindly trusting labels, using sight, smell, and touch can be a more effective way to avoid food waste. Not all foods need to be discarded as soon as the date on the label expires. For example, a pack of cookies may have an expiration date indicating it should be consumed within 6 months, but it can remain good for much longer if stored properly. It's important for consumers to learn to differentiate between freshness and food safety. Some items, like meat and dairy, do need to be consumed within a specific period to avoid health risks, but many processed and dried foods can last well beyond the printed date due to a much larger safety margin. However, it's essential to know which foods can be safely consumed and which cannot. To effectively tackle food waste, we need global solutions involving all sectors of the consumption chain. One approach is the standardization of food labeling. The lack of uniformity in expiration dates and other information on labels confuses consumers and leads to unnecessary food disposal. Clear and standardized labeling can help significantly reduce this problem. Besides standardizing labels, incentives for food donation can make a huge difference. Many supermarkets, restaurants, and other retailers discard perfectly good but unsold food due to nearing expiration dates. Programs that encourage the donation of these foods can help fight hunger and reduce food waste simultaneously. Another important point is consumer education. Teaching people to differentiate between freshness and safety, and to use their senses, sight, smell, and touch, to assess food quality can have a profound impact. Awareness and education are powerful tools in the fight against food waste. So, why not start today? Share your new knowledge with friends and family, encourage sustainable practices in your daily life, and make informed choices whenever you face a food label. If you enjoyed this exploration of food expiration dates and want to keep learning, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.